Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Live Courageously podcast. Today is a super special day because it's my very first interview, and I am with the beautiful Madison Gregory.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited and happy to be here and doing this podcast with you. It's super exciting because I've never been on a podcast before. So,
Yes, it's so exciting because we just did our pageant live interview live. We heard and found out that there was some technical difficulties that we weren't aware of, but hey, it's all good. We made it through. You can hear the audio well, so if you want to check that out, you can. But we are going to get down to business because Madison has some amazing things to share. So first and foremost, she is my sister queen. Madison is the USA National Miss South Carolina 2020. And we are so excited because Nationals is just around the corner. So crazy.
Yes, just around the corner. I'm like,
yes. So what is your favorite thing that you're looking forward to?
Yes, well, I have heard so many amazing things about nationals. I have so many bucket list items I want to achieve. You know, there's like, you have to meet this person, you have to talk to this person, you gotta take this picture here, this picture there. I'm like, oh my goodness, it sounds all so amazing. So I think number one, first of all, I'm just super, super stoked to have the opportunity to walk across the one and only UNM stage. You know, you see all these amazing pictures of it on social media. You hear how it's a 40-foot long runway. I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to see it. So that's, of course, super exciting. I'm also super excited to meet many other girls from different states, get to know everyone. And yeah, it's just all super exciting. It's hard to choose just one thing. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be so amazing. I'm very excited. I cannot wait to see everyone. We're supposed to have a beach trip here soon. Thank goodness, because it's been so long since I've seen all of us together and seeing everyone just being able to have fun and forget about pandemic stuff and just be ourselves and just have a great time. So that's coming up soon. I'm very excited.
We all need to be reunited.
Yes, we really do. Okay, so something that Madison is actually working on her platform, which is Love Your Skin. We were in our interview and I was like, you know what? That is such an amazing thing that people don't really think about their skin that much. And Madison has an awesome story as to how it all got started. So tell us about how you started your platform, where it came about, and what you're doing to advocate for it.
Of course. So I created my own personal initiative, Love Your Skin, because it all started in elementary school where I was bullied for the darker pigmentations on my skin. They're on my face and on my arms. And so every single day after school, I came home crying to my parents, begging them to take me to the dermatologist. And this is the one time that my dad took me to the doctor because he's either golfing, at work, watching sports. So we were on the way to the doctor's office, and then we finally get there, and he was holding me, and while the doctor was checking me out, you know, making sure all my spots were okay, he said, "You're going to be fine, but I'm worried about your dad." And they actually found a spot on my dad's arm that turned out to be stage 2 melanoma skin cancer. So if it weren't for him taking me to the doctor that day, then we would have never known that he had cancer. They would have never found it. And so my family and the doctors like to say that I saved my dad's life. And every day when we still, you know, walk into the doctor's office, they're like, "Oh, hey, like you're the girl, you know, that saved your dad's life." And I'm like, "Oh, I guess you could think about it that way." So yeah, it's honestly such a blessing that he took me that day because they would have never have found it if he didn't have. So why did I get to be an advocate for protecting your skin from the sun? I feel like my story really just describes and really teaches people how fast and how crazy it can come up without you knowing. And so I hope that my message really just encourages others to be more aware of, you know, how long their skin is in the sun for and if you're using the right appropriate sunscreen. So while I advocate for that, I also spread positivity about being confident in your own skin and who you are and loving your differences and embracing them because they make you unique. So yeah, so those are my 2 messages I spread through my platform. And pre-COVID, I actually talked to students in classrooms and at my dance studio. I talked about my personal platform, and that was so much fun because they walked out of there with little sunglasses on and many sunscreens, and they learned about the importance of protecting your skin, and they also learned about how to stay positive. So definitely one of my favorite highlights as my reign is to teach children about protecting yourself from the sun and also being confident in who you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so great. Like, absolutely amazing because I actually have a family member as well that had skin cancer. It was my aunt on my dad's side. And but from her, like she did a lot of tanning, like a lot of tanning beds and going out in the sun all the time, and she didn't really use sunscreen that much, and she ended up getting skin cancer, and it drastically changed her life. And I feel like people really neglected, like they don't think about, oh, I'm going to go to the beach, I don't need sunscreen, like it's going to be fine. I just want to be tan, you know?
Right.
And having something like that you're able to actually teach people exactly what they can do, what they need to watch out for, like that's something that's very important. And that I'm just so excited that there is someone out there that's doing that. Like for me, if I were going out and to in the sun or whatever, so like what would you recommend wearing, or what type of sunscreen, or like what would you recommend?
Yes. Well, my dad wears 100 sunscreen. And honestly, that's the most effective. I know people are like, oh, it's 100, like I'm not going to get tan. Well, I mean, you can get a spray tan, like as long as you're protecting your skin, that's all that matters. So definitely get a high number of sunscreen. And I like to actually put it on right after I get dressed before I leave my house. Because
Okay.
sometimes you're at the beach, you get your hands sandy and then you try to rub sunscreen on and then it just irritates your skin. So I just do it right before I leave for the beach because, I don't have to worry about getting sand in the mixture. And also things to look for, it's called Know Your ABCDEs. And there's a little diagrams about it. You can find it on the internet. But basically what it means is that you look for changes of shape, changes of color, to any spots you have on your skin. And if you notice that, you need to call your doctor immediately. So it's very important to, check out your moles and the different freckles you have on your arms to make sure that it's not changing in shape, size, or color.
That's really helpful because honestly, I before talking to you, like I had no clue. Like I actually recently, when I used to be a little bit younger, I would go to the beach and like, oh, I was like, I want to be tan, like I don't want to put on a lot of sunscreen, but then I would get like burned, and it was
Right.
just so painful.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since I got a little bit older, and then of course when my aunt got melanoma, I was like, okay, I need to start wearing some sunscreen because first of all, I don't like the pain of being burned after like going out in the sun or going to the
Right.
lake. Like it's just so painful. Like you don't want to have to do that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then also I was like, you know what? Skin cancer is not a joke. Like it's
That's
really
right.
tough. And I've seen what my aunt has to go through. And then you personally, like you had to see what your dad had to go through in order to get rid of it. So it's like that's just so important. A lot of people just don't understand that that is a real thing. You need to know what to do, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah, so I'm hoping that my story is definitely an eye opener to others and brings awareness to the importance of protecting your skin because even I've noticed from my peers and classmates and friends that they just completely put off sunscreen. And I'm like, wait a second, like what? So it's really important to get my message out and my message around to others. And I hope that, yeah, more people become aware.
Yeah, it's very important. So, switching gears a little bit, we talked about in our pageant live interview that you are a dancer. So, tell us a little bit about that and how you got started.
Yes. So I have two older sisters. So I'm the youngest. I'm the baby of the family. And I basically grew up at that dance studio. I probably learned, instead of learning how to walk, I learned how to dance first. I mean, I completely skipped the walking phase. I'm into dancing. So both of my sisters danced, and that's how I got involved. And my mom has been at the same dance studio as a parent for 22 years. So she
Wow.
could probably pay their bills if she wanted to, just because we are so involved. But I wouldn't want to have it any other way. It is so, so amazing. So I actually have been dancing officially since the age of 3, and I have been a competitive dancer for the last 14 years. So that's with my dance studio, but I also am a part of my high school dance team where we perform at basketball games, football games, pep rallies. We do some community service events where we perform. We perform at nursing homes, which is a lot of fun to bring some joy, especially around the holidays. That's always my favorite. So dancing is definitely a huge part of my life, obviously, as you could probably only imagine. So yes, it's definitely taken, it's honestly really sad because I'm going into my senior year and this is my last year at the studio, and just all the friendships and connections and relationships I've made with all the teachers and all my teammates, it's definitely going to be different to leave in a year.
Mm-hmm.
But always, I'm super thankful for all the memories. And yes, it's been amazing.
Yeah, tell me how that works. So I've seen like I have a lot of people who are I have a lot of friends that are dancers. And I always see like once they get up to like their senior year of high school, they're like, "Oh, this is my last year. This is my last year." Does that mean last year just in your dance high school and like with your dance company, is like that what that means, or like are you going to be pursuing it after all of this? Like what is your plan?
Right. Well, because dance has been a part of my life for so long and I've developed a love and passion for it, I would love to take it to the collegiate level. So I would, as I want to attend the University of South Carolina, like we talked about previously in our pageant live interview, I will be auditioning to become a Carolina girl, and that is the competitive dance team at the University of South Carolina. So yes, so basically when you're a senior, that's when you graduate from high school. So that means you also graduate from your dance studio because you're leaving home. And it is up to that individual if they decide that they want to, take on their career to college. And then after college, you could go pro and dance NFL. So it really is up to the individual. But I'm hoping that I will make the college dance team and just see where dance takes me. But I don't think there's any way I can give it up just because I just have such a strong passion for it. So I
Exactly.
hope live in them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so isn't the Carolina girls, that's the girl, almost kind of like the Rally Cats, like they're the dance team that is
Yes.
out on the field. That's so
Yes,
exciting.
that's
I've
right.
always admired like the Rally Cats because they had like the sparkly outfits and they were like doing the dances. I was like, "Oh, I can do that," but that's a totally different thing. Like I haven't done dance, so I'm sure there's so much technique and so many things that you have to
Oh,
know in order to
yes.
even do it. Like,
That's right.
how would you feel if you were out on the field as a Carolina girl? Like, what do you think you'd be experiencing?
Oh my goodness. Well, actually, a little background story. So, through my dance team, my high school dance team, we came across an opportunity. It's called Spirit Day, and a few girls from your team are able to dance at a university in South Carolina football game during halftime. Basically, you learn to dance, and there's 100 other girls from different schools and in the state of South Carolina. And so we all come together and we get to dance on the field during halftime, just one game. And so I was chosen to be able to dance on the field. And okay, you might laugh, but I've grown up going to the games and watching the Carolina girls. So the second I ran onto that field, I started bawling my eyes out.
Oh my
I
goodness.
was crying because I was like, there's 80,000 people in the
Yeah.
stand. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to dance in front of like 80,000 people. Like, this is my dream. And I just started crying. And my coach was on the side laughing at me,
Oh
like,
my
you're not.
gosh.
I'm like, yes, I am. It was just so surreal. Like, you look up and you see Garnet and Black and all the fans screaming, and there's no other feeling. So I think that's what really made me know that I wanted to try out and audition. So yeah, so that would be awesome.
That's great. But I totally know what you mean. Like that just overwhelming feeling. You're just like, you just can't help but like cry. Like I think
Right.
the other day I was at my sister's high school graduation, and just like,
Mhm.
I mean, it had nothing to do with me, of course, but like being in that environment, and then everybody's like there, they're excited, they're happy, and then all of the graduates, they're happy, but they're sad. So like having that feeling, you just kind of, you get emotional when things like that are happening, and it's just so
Yes,
crazy. And it's so cool that you actually got to already have that experience, and then
I
imagine
know.
going into
I
college and then getting
mhm,
to do that for the next 4 years. Like,
I
yes.
know. Yes, it is super competitive, but everything happens for a reason and God's timing. So we'll just see where life takes me. But yes, that is a goal of mine, definitely to be a Carolina girl. And I know for sure the first game I would cry just because I grew up going to those football games. So yeah, it'd just be so amazing.
Yeah, well,
Thank
I totally believe in you. I wish I had some
you.
connections, because I would be like, hey, this is a girl for you. You have to take her on.
Thank
Because
you.
you would
Actually, a
definitely
fun
kill it.
fact.
Yeah.
Thank you. A girl from my studio, one of my very closest friends, is a Carolina girl, and we also have a rally cat from our studio and from my high school dance team.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, yes, a
So
little
you
fun
guys
fact.
already have connections. Pull you
Well,
in.
we are so thankful for our dance teachers and coaches because they really are the best of the best and push us to be the best we can be. And they teach us, to follow our dreams. So without them, they wouldn't have been able to accomplish being a rally cat or a Carolina girl. So we all owe it all to our teachers. That's for sure.
That's great. Yeah, and it's so crazy. Like, God puts like the right people in your life at the right time. So like, you've been in dance and you've had like these awesome mentors like your entire life. That
Mm-hmm.
is something that's so special. And I feel like some people and like some girls don't recognize that they have those people in their life, like their mentors, that they should be looking up to. They need to be taking notes, because these are the people that are going to
Right.
help them like go so far in their career and in their life. So it's so cool that you recognize that, and you're very grateful for the people that God has put in your life. That's so awesome.
I think it's super important to realize who surrounds you and who helps you pursue your dreams because there's no way that I could do that all by myself.
Yeah.
Like I have to pushing me. So yeah, so it's definitely rewarding to know that I have such a great support system.
Yeah. So while we're on that topic, something that you have very special for the podcast only, because we talked a little bit about it in Pageant Live, but for the
Yeah.
podcast and just for my viewers and everyone coming over to listen. So, one of the things that you learned through dance was time management. So, tell me a
Mhm.
little bit about that. And then, what can our viewers do right now to help their time management get a little bit better, or just improve on how to manage their time?
Yes, absolutely. So, like I said, I've been dancing since the age of 3, and it really started taking a toll on me when I got into high school. There's so much more homework that you get assigned. You have more tests. You have to start studying for the SAT, ACT,
Yes.
yeah, your driver's test. I mean, there's so many things like you really need to study for. And so there are nights where I didn't come home from dance until 9:30, and I've been there since straight after school. So there was days I left my house at 7 a.m. in the morning for school, didn't come back home until 9:30 at night. Yes, it was crazy. And I was probably only 13, 14 at the time. But the one thing that I've taken away from dance is time management skills. And I'm super thankful for that. So, some tips that I have for those listening for time management is first, you have to be organized. Organization is honestly the key. So, some things I do to help me stay organized is I have the Google Calendar app on my phone. And
Mm-hmm.
what I like about this is you can color coordinate between your activities. So, like, I have the color blue represents dance, the color yellow represents when I need to study. And what also is awesome is that the Google Calendar app gives you a notification 30 minutes before you have an appointment or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's super easy to access because it's right on your phone. So I definitely recommend tracking all of your activities. And then another thing that I do for organization when it comes to school is I'm pretty sure in elementary school and middle school, you got like a little agenda or school planner, but in high school, you don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is go to Target, buy me a planner. I'm sure you have one because
Oh,
I know
yeah.
how organized you are.
I thank you.
And And I write down my homework, and there's these little stickers that come in some agendas,
Mm-hmm.
and they say test. I make sure that I say, okay, I have a test this day. I have dance at this time, so I need to make sure that I bring a snack or something like that. It's just super important to have a planner, and so you know how to plan out your day. So organization is definitely key. And then next definitely becomes, let's see, number 2 says to prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
And this one definitely where I lose track a little bit, because sometimes I just want to get the easiest one done first. Like,
Yeah.
let me just do the easiest one. Because I definitely, not gonna lie, sometimes I procrastinate.
Oh yeah, me
So
too.
to keep me, yes, to keep me on track, it's really important to prioritize your activities. So the first thing you need to do is write down what is most important. So I like to say, okay, I have a test tomorrow, so I need to study for that test before I do my physics homework when I don't have a test for that. So you just
Okay.
need to number between what's most important. And I like to use the color red, like a red pen that simplifies urgent and like hot and like needs to get done first. Like it needs to get done. So color coding, there it is again. You gotta color code. It really helps. So to go back to what I said, definitely organize, Google Calendar, color coding. You gotta get a school planner. And then when you prioritize, you gotta go from what's needs to be done first, what's most important, and then just go down the list from there. And then next on my list, I have don't be unrealistic with your time. Now, my dad and I cannot stand to be late for anything. So that's definitely a good quality I'd say I
Yes.
have, because some others aren't the same. But when I say don't be unrealistic with your time, I mean to plan out how much time you need for each thing you do. So say you have a school meeting at 5 o'clock, but you need to get gas, you need
Mm-hmm.
to the post office and drop something off. So you need to plan, okay, I need to leave at like 4 o'clock so I can get gas, and then I'll be done there by 4:10. I'll be at the post office by this time, and then I'll be able to get to the school on time for my meeting at 5 o'clock. So it's just super important to really be aware of how long everything's going to take. So definitely be realistic with your time, because that will save you from being late. Last, I have limit distractions. Now, this is a big one, especially for Gen Zs, because we all are obsessed with our phones, especially with TikTok and social media and
Yes.
everything. It's super important to turn your phone off. And then when you're done with your activity, think of your phone as a reward. Be like, okay, once I finish my homework assignment, then I can go on my phone and text so and so back. Or then I can go on my phone and play this game. But it's super important to limit distractions, but also reward yourself. Be positive about what you've accomplished, be positive about how far you've gotten between the long list you had an hour before. It's just super important to reward yourself, and that will make it so much more fun, because you're like, oh, like I get a coffee when I'm done with this. It'll make you want to get through it that much faster.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are a few. I hope they're helpful.
Yes. And these are all things that people can start doing right now. Like it's so easy to like, okay, first of all, Google Calendars, it's free. Everybody can just jump on it and just put whatever they want on it. Like easy just like that. And then most people have where you can do your notifications and it'll just pop up right on your phone. It's like, okay, you got to get this done. And I really loved how you were doing, or you talked about doing the red, like this is urgent. So like for me, when I have a
Yes.
planner and I have to have my planner because otherwise it would not be good. So what I do is I have my calendar and I'll like write everything that I need to do down. And then when I'm done, like how you talked about doing the easy stuff first. So what I'll do is I'll do those
Mhm.
things first, of course, and then I'll like mark it off with a pen, like my highlighter. So anything that's in yellow or whatever color my highlighter is, that's done. But I
Yeah.
really like how you were talking about doing red is like, this is urgent. You need to get this done first. Because there is some times where I'm like, okay, I have all this stuff to do. I'm going to do this, but then realize that really I probably should have done this other thing first, you know? So
Mhm.
that's an awesome tip.
Yes.
Absolutely love it. That was great.
And it also is super helpful because if you have, one thing marked as red urgent, that's probably the thing that's going to take the longest. That's the task that's going to take the most time out of your day. So that's just super important to get done first because you know that it's probably urgent, color red. So
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully that is helpful. That's something that I think has really helped me out when it comes down to school.
Hmm.
So make sure you carry it with you, everybody listening.
Yes. It doesn't matter how old or how young you are, like all of this helps tremendously.
Right.
Like back in high
Yeah.
school, like I had so many things to do, but I somehow got it done before I had to leave school. I don't know how I did because then after school you had all these other things to do. But college, for all my girls out there who are listening that are either going into college or they're already in college, you need to have a planner to be able to write everything down because if you don't, life is going to go crazy. It's going to be a mess, and you really have to be organized for sure. So, all of these tips I 100% recommend, and I hope that it has helped somebody out there today who is listening because we all need a little organization in our lives.
That's right. We all do.
Yes.
Doesn't hurt anyone.
No. Okay, so Madison, tell everyone where they can find you on social media, find you on Facebook, all of those different things. That way they can follow you on your journey to nationals, learn more about Love Your Skin if they want to, be able to ask you any questions if they have questions.
Yeah,
Where can they find you?
absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram at USA National Miss underscore SC Teen 2020. You can find me as Maddie Gregory, MADI, on Instagram as my personal page. And you can find me on Facebook under Madison Gregory. Feel free to message me if you have any questions, and you can learn a little bit more about me and follow my journey to nationals.
Yes, we are so excited for nationals. And I absolutely thank you so much, Madison, for being here. My very first ever pageant live interview and a podcast interview. Like, you are just killing it, killing it.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
It was so much fun. Yes, I really enjoyed it. So thank you for having me. And it's such an
Yes.
honor.
I am so happy that you are because you know how to talk, you know how to carry your own. That is so great. Like the whole thing was absolutely fantastic over on Pageant Live. So if you haven't seen the Pageant Live interview, you get to learn a little bit more about Madison's background, what she likes to do for fun on the outside of pageantry, and all those different things. So make sure you head over there as well. And guys, I thank you so much for listening and can't wait until our next episode.